Okay, hi, hello. I am Julian Valentine, or as I'm more widely known, Immortal Monarch, or the Immortal Monarch, or Immortal, or Monarch, or whatever you have. Anyway, today I wanted to just talk about something really quickly. I'll admit, this is my second time recording this. The first one just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. And not gonna lie, that's kind of one of the reasons why I stopped podcasting, because I started to take it a bit too serious when I just said first was doing it for fun and for friends and things of that nature. But anyway, um, I wanted to talk about something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and that is greatness. I had looked up the definition of being great, or greatness for that matter, and it was just like great. Well, first of all, I looked up the definition of greatness, and it was like you have the quality of being great, and it's like, well, no fucking shit. Yeah, okay, the quality of being great. Thanks. Oh, by the way, this is a podcast in which I cuss, so if that's a problem for you, you know what the door is. I have to clear my throat so bad, but I don't want to do that. Anyway, so it's something that had been plaguing my mind the past couple of days, and not just like the past couple of days. I've had these thoughts like for a long time, but um, more so recently because of different things. But I I think we all know what greatness means to us. I think that greatness is relative. I think that greatness is definitely depending on your upbringing and your surroundings and the way that life shaped you, whether it's the media you watch, the people you hang out with, the people you idolize, in some kind of way that defines what you consider to be greatness. I was telling a story about how the previous one where I tried to record about my one of my good friends, Charles. Um, he'll never listen to this podcast because he'll never know it exists, but I love him dearly. He's one of my good friends. He let me live with him when I was trying to go to school and stuff. It's a whole little complicated story, but that's neither here nor there. So when I first started hanging out with Charles, and he would come and go with us to different places and things. My mom would probably like stop and get us some fast food or something like that. And whenever she would ask him, she's like, "Oh, what do you want to eat?" And my mom knows that I want already, so she generally doesn't have to ask me. Or if she did, I'd just be like, "Yeah, just give me this or whatever," right? So he would be like, "Oh, I'll have whatever Julian's getting," and it was like, "Okay, but like, you don't have to, right?" And I feel like there was a lot of build up to this in the previous one I recorded, but I'm gonna stop talking about the previous one. I'm just gonna keep going. But we had to kind of break him out of his shell a little bit, like expand his horizons in a way. Because like you don't have to just get what I was getting because you feel like that is what's acceptable. You can get whatever it is you want to get. Now, with that being said, there were some times it was like, okay, let's not get crazy. Just because you have the option and the opportunity to get, everything doesn't mean that you should. Because, it's a, let's not, try and buy the jewelry store until make me a grill type of situation. If you get that reference, 15 points to you. Again, I'm not keeping score points, so you figure that out yourself and you tally them and send them to me if it's what you like. But, greatness is relative to everyone. If let's say you're a millionaire, right? You're not going to think having $1,000 is being great because you're a millionaire. Beyonce is not going to be like, oh, $1,000? Oh my gosh, it's like so much money, like, oh, thank you so much. Like, no, She's over here doing shows in Dubai for $25 million. Like, what? She got on her Dina Jones one night only for $25 million. So to her, it's another payday type of situation. But for us, normals, us normies, us, just regular folks, like, bitch, I wish I could get paid $25 million to just work for like, I don't know, 2, 3 hours. I don't know how long she even performed. Like, I think it was an hour long set actually. Like, imagine getting $25 million for an hour set. Shout out to being Beyonce, I guess. But the point I wanted to make here, the point I want to discuss is that everyone has the potential for greatness, but it's a matter of if you have that passion and drive in you to achieve it. And now, again, greatness is relative and it's on a scale. Greatness for you could possibly be, I don't know, making a community garden. Like you could, I know my thoughts are a little bit jumbled here, but I think that sometimes we don't realize the impact of something we've done could have on others. Like in a good way, like, and obviously in bad ways too. But for the case of argument here, there's like, think about some of the most amazing artists out there. And I mean, when I say artists, I mean not like necessarily recording artists, but my first thoughts were of like, Van Gogh or Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo. These people who were making paintings and sculptures, and this was just something that they were doing, but now that it's regarded as amazing works. It's like these little things that, like, oh, I made this little painting of sunflowers and now everybody raves about it. Jackson Pollock threw paint on a canvas and it's regarded as high art. It's these things that we didn't think about being so amazing that turns out to be actually, mind blowing to people, hundreds of years later. Hundreds of years? How many ever years later, depending on the scale of the people you're thinking about. But the reason I've been kind of feeling a bit like this lately, like I think if you have that drive in you, and I feel like a friend told this to me one time of, you will achieve great things because you constantly think about them, or you want to, you're striving to do more because you have that drive and it's something that nags you that you'll ever take to, that you evidently is not the word I want to use, that you eventually will achieve whatever it is that you wish to achieve. My good friend Sterling is a writer, and I think he's a phenomenal writer. I've read one of his books and I loved it. But, breaking into said industry can be difficult, One of my favorite things I like to say is that there's always room for people at the table. Maybe there's food, there's drinks, there's a chair for everybody. But some people don't want to take that seat. Some people don't want to sit down at the table and eat, and that's their choice. But you can't complain when the table's right there. You can't get mad at somebody else for taking a seat and eating, baby, because there's space for everybody. You have to carve out where you want to sit, honey. You can't just expect somebody, like, now there's instances where, yes, people will push you to the table and sit you down. But that's not always the case. Not everybody has that luxury. And so, it's figuring out, again, and I know this is kind of like all over the place and whatever, deal with it. I'm dealing with it. But I have this nagging feeling, well, not so much nagging, but it's an incessant feeling of like, I want to be doing more. I want to be doing something great. But I find myself in a situation of where I feel like my circumstances and my surroundings are kind of like holding me back. I made this joke with my friend that, like, if anybody's watched anime here, rather it be like Naruto or rather it be Naruto or Dragon Ball Z or any of those kind of like fighting type of animes where they have like the massive amount of weights on them or whatever, and the enemy character or whoever they're going up against are like, oh man, bro, look at this dude, blah blah blah, and next thing you just hear like the ground shatter as they drop these massive weights on the ground, and I make the joke because I'm like I play on the laptop, I do all my things on the laptop, and I was like, the day that I get a PC, baby, the day I get over 144 frames and I have a decent internet, oh, it's over for these hoes. It's done. It's a wrap. Shut it down because it's literally it's this character take 3. I'm so sorry. There's this character in League of Legends named Syndra, and she has these voice lines. Like I put a video on Twitter, and if I remember, I'll put it in here. Let me make a note of that here to put it here. Let's see, we have 12 minutes. Okay, 12-minute mark, put it in a video. Anyway, and it's like, I'm like, my potential is, limitless and untapped power and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's like, it's literally, that is very much how I'm going to be. It's like, I know that if circumstances were different, I could do so much more. But the beautiful thing that I have is just like working out and working with things where they hinder you. Like if you're running with weights on, the moment you take those weights off, you're going to run faster. It's the same thing with like working out in the sense of like lifting heavy things. Like, yes, that weight at the start of it is kind of like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy, but eventually it becomes light and, negligible. And you have to like, obviously you increase the weight if you want to get stronger. And I know you're like, what does this have to do with greatness? But it's the same thing of nobody just starts out being great. It's a marathon. It's not a race. You don't race to greatness. Like in some instances, I guess you can if you're catapulted, but for the everyday man, you have to generally take your time to get there and to work at it, And speaking of Sterling, he's texting me. I need you to chill right now. But yeah, what was I getting ready to say? Completely lost my train of thought there. But like, and the reason I've been thinking about it lately is that it's just I've kind of ingrained myself into the VTuber community. And it wasn't something that I was kind of expecting. At first, I was just kind of like, oh, let's check this out and let's, follow these different people. And now I'm like lost in the sauce, all the cool points out the window and I'm twisted up in the game. 30 points, actually 50 points if you get that reference. Again, not keeping tally, you figure it out on your own. But I'm in this scene now. And it's so interesting to see all these behind the scene things and how a lot of this stuff works and how a lot of work goes into these, into being these. What is the word I want to use here? Because personas, personalities, stars, even maybe you become so much to people in so many different ways. Anyway, but that's not really the point. Like, like I've become ingrained in this different community. Like I've was kind of first involved in like the Overwatch community and like gaming, but this is like on a whole different level. And it's like how you kind of just like feel like you find your people and you find your place, and there's been a couple times that I've found my people, but this one just feels different, I'm quite thankful for the friends that I've made and the friends that I'm making, and it's like while I'm not streaming per se. I do my little YouTube videos and I'm doing this little podcast thingy, but I'm making connections and friendships and relationships. And I've yet to press, you know, stream start or whatever. I don't know what the button even is. Start streaming. Goes to show you how much I use OBS or whatever. But I've yet to really do that, and so um, it's just kind of like it's kind of like a weird place to be because you see all these different people, you see these streamers, and you see all these things that they're doing, and it's like I want to do those things. I want to make a name for myself in this community, but then at the same time, it's like Uncle Ben, not the one who makes the rice, but the one who's Spider-Man's uncle. Uncle Ben once said, "With great power comes great responsibility," and I want to kind of twist that a little bit because achieving greatness is great. I hate everything. Achieving greatness is a wonderful thing, but it comes with its own set of, I guess, problems, and uh, it comes with its own set of problems in circumstances and things of that nature. It's like you have these challenges that come along with it, and not only getting there, but then also maintaining it, and then maybe even going above and beyond what you're achieving. And again, I use Beyonce a lot as a reference because I feel like she's a beacon of what greatness is in a way. But she always is pushing the boundaries of what she does. From her music to her live shows to the artistry to the videos, she is constantly, as Michelle Obama will say, "Hey Queen, you've done it again." Constantly setting the bar and whatever else she says. But she constantly is redefining herself and doing more. And it's like, and again, not everybody's going to have that level of drive or passion or accessibility. But again, greatness is relative to you and to what you want to be. Like I said, if making a community garden is something that you feel is what your greatness is, what your magnum opus, I think it's magnum opus, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. If that is your Mona Lisa, if you will, then that's it. It could be anything. It could be something that may not mean anything to me, but it means a lot to you, or it could mean something that means a lot to the world. Um, as much as Aubrey Graham, if you know who that is, one time put out a song talking about "I just want to be successful," and I think about this song from time to time, and I absolutely adore it. Like it's real chill, and it's such a vibe, and it's such a mood. But there's also this anime called Yuri on Ice, and I think of the theme song, and it kind of makes me cry. I want to tear up even. I've listened to it too much. It'll make me cry. But anyway, it's called History Makers, and it's like, "Don't stop us now. The moment of truth. We were born to make history." It's like, we'll make it happen. We'll turn it around. Yes, we were born to make history. And I absolutely love the song. And I'm not doing it justice because I'm not going to sing on my podcast for starters. But two, it's just like, it's such a vibe. And it's such a mood. It's like, when I think about it, I'm just like, this is very much what I want to do. And I'm not saying that I'm trying to be like some mega superstar or something like that. But everybody has goals they want to achieve. And I kind of feel like I'm finding myself in that place of what do I want? What do I want to achieve? What is greatness to me? You know? Like, what do you consider greatness? What is it that you want to achieve? And this isn't per se me, I guess, do your homework. What is greatness to you? Like that type of situation. But it's just, a little food for thought. Like, what do you consider something that you want to achieve? Like, what do you want to do? Like, I always talk about how, like, I envy people who have dreams and know what they want to do in life and go for it. But, like, at that same time, I had a friend who, who was going to nursing school and things of that nature. And then they just kind of, for, different reasons, they ended up not continuing and kind of fell off. And it kind of broke my heart in a way because I was like, as long as I've known you, you've always, and now granted, to their credit, they are doing somewhat of what they wanted to do in regards to helping people and taking care of people, but they didn't become a nurse, which is fine. Life happens, things happen, but the thing that made me upset is like you consistently talked about wanting to be a nurse and this is what you wanted to do because you like helping your grandparents and so many other things. And I was just like, look at you going out here and doing the damn thing like you said you wanted to do. And then life kind of happened and it just kind of like, it made me sad because it's like, as long as I've known you, this is what you've wanted and you could achieve this, but you aren't, which, as my good friend would say, it is what it is. C'est la vie, que sera sera. But I think greatness changes depending on your mindset and where you are in life and what you want to achieve and where you want to go. I remember being, and I talk about it from time to time, being in a cult. It was in Becca Church, youth group situation, but I call it a cult because, well, let's not get into that right now. But I remember having this, they were like, oh, you're gonna build churches and lead the nations, and they really hyped this Jesus shit up. Like, don't get me wrong, impressionable. Why am I saying don't get me wrong? Listen, it's wrong. Take two, take five, shit, who knows? Take 10,000. It's not wrong to want to hype people up and to get them on board with, the things that you feel like would be good or beneficial to them. But they were like, oh, you bring in people and you do this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna prophesy over you, and you're gonna touch the nations, and we're up here singing songs and crying, like we're gonna be great. This and then here I am, 10,000 years old later, and I'm like, girl, that was not it. That was not the vibe, mama. That was not for me. Touching the nations, no. Touching your fathers with consent, yeah, I'm down for that. This other stuff though, this going to be a mission and to be a missionary. sorry. Low key dying. Okay. I completely got lost in my own train of thought because I had a funny ass thought and then I completely lost it. But I'm so mad at myself that I got caught up in my own joke that I lost it. But it was something along the lines of, touching, and I don't fully remember that shit. It's gone. But their definition of greatness just didn't line up with what mine was. Having a wife and kids and being a, oh, I remember it now. They were talking about being a missionary, and I was like, honey, I'm into a whole type of different missionary nowadays. But that's that's a whole different conversation. The missionary that I'm into, not quite the same missionary that y'all thought we were going to be doing, but different strokes for different folks, different strokes indeed. But everybody's definition of greatness is different. Everybody's outlook and perspective on life is different, and I think that's what makes life great. Unless you're a dumbass and the type of people I'm talking about, homophobes and transphobes and all those types of things. Your definitions don't count. Your outlooks don't count. Therapy, seek help, get your shit together. But for those of us who aren't assholes and bigots and any other amount of things I could sit here and list, go out and achieve whatever greatness is to you. Again, it's a gradual process. Nobody just becomes great overnight. Even if they do, there was some groundwork or something that was done beforehand. I'm going to be one of those people that when I go live and I just pop up on the scene and I have all my shit together, is because literally I've had nothing but time and space and opportunity to think about all these things and to get all my ducks in a row. And that's not to say that things will just take off or soar or whatever, but I will have done somewhat of the work to get to where I want to go, and that will be helpful. And it'll be instrumental in whatever I want to choose to do. Like right now, I'm all up in this VTuber scene and I love it, but I might be one of those people who graduates before they even go to school. To use the term for VTubing, graduating, and all that jazz, but who knows? That's the beautiful thing about life. Your definitions and everything changes. But I say all that to say, I just want to do something that will leave an impact on this world in a good way. I remember this song, and for the record, this is hyperbole. This is a parody. This is not to be taken out of context and got chopped and screwed. But there was this little channel a website called Atom Films or something like that, and they had this song, and I might include it at the end of this if I remember, but I probably won't. There's two things I'm so sorry to be doing, but they had this part. They had this little short video thing, and this person was like, "I want to be famous," or whatever. Right? That's like the little song or whatever. And then they were like, I live alone in a small apartment. I have no money and I have no job. And they were like, I really, really, really want to be famous. And so then they were like, they were just doing a whole little song or whatever. And then they get to this part and they're like, I'm going to kill somebody important. And I'm like, excuse me? We're going to do what, ma'am? We're going to do what? And like, I'm going to kill somebody important. And I'm like, okay, wait. No. Hold on, sweetheart. Hold on. No, ma'am, that's not the way we go about this. That's not what we're supposed to be doing here. We're not doing that. But it was like obviously a parody, and technically they would become famous, or rather infamous, if that's what they did. But that's not the kind of greatness we're trying to achieve. That's not the greatness of my mark that I'm trying to leave on this world. Because one, that's effort, and two, I'm not built for prison, and I'm not built for a whole lot of things. Okay. No, ma'am, not me, not this girly. We're not doing that. But to end on a serious note, in a way, I just want to do something that leaves a positive impact on the world. That preferably I can see the impact of it while I'm still alive. But sometimes that's not always the case. We sometimes don't know the greatness that we have, or the greatness that we instilled into the world until much, much longer down the road, These starving artists and people, breaking their necks and backs to create these sculptures and Sistine Chapels and music and all these other things. I'm not a big sports person, but, people from the Olympics and all these different things where you're flowers weren't given to you at the time are now regarded as some of the highest of the echelon of things you can achieve nowadays. That's why I'm all for giving people their flowers now. Hey, thank you. You did great. This is amazing. That's why I do my best to hype up my friends. Because let me tell you something. I have a friend, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to do so great. This, that, and the third." And I'm like, "No, we're all going to do great, baby. We're all going to go out and do things and achieve our goals and do what we want to do. Because if one of us gets on, we all get on. I will never have this crab in the barrel mentality. I'll never be that person that's like, wow. Don't get me wrong. I sometimes get envious. Hell, I'll sometimes even get jealous, but I'm never going to like shit on someone for achieving something that I would like or for having something that I want. That just means I need to go out and work harder. That just means I need to make the moves to get what I want and get to where I want to be. Like they always say, let your haters be your motivators. Let those people who inspire you be your motivators too. Let those people who have what you want be your motivators too. To get what you want, not theirs. Don't try and take theirs. Don't try and beat them. Don't try and emulate them. Imitation is the best form of flattery, but let's not be doing it all the time, okay? You can imitate somebody and try to replicate that success in a way, but do it on your own terms and do it where it suits you and where it's niche for you. Because the 90s taught me anything, and even the 2000s, not everybody's going to be a Britney Spears. Not everybody's going to try and come up and replicate Beyonce or whomever, or everybody's going to try and be somebody. That's just not going to work. You have to figure out how you fit in with whatever you're trying to achieve. Anyway, I could sit here and go on and on about, trying to achieve your goals and replicate things that make you a more successful person. Because the blueprints are out there, but just because this dress fits that one person doesn't mean that dress is going to fit you. You're going to have to tailor it to fit your body, honey. But shout out to Victor Taylor. But yeah, and again, this is already like 30 minutes long, so I'm going to wrap this up. Figure out what greatness means to you. Figure out whether it's something small right now, or maybe it's something ethereal and dreamy that you want. There's this TikTok sound of talking about being delusional and shoot for the moon or shoot for the stars. Anyway, okay, I have to pee. I'll be right back. And we're back. My apologies for having to dip so quickly. Nature made a phone call and I said, yes, ma'am, I will answer. Anyway. But yeah, go figure out what greatness means to you and figure out how you want to achieve that. Surround yourself with people who want you to reach your goals and to achieve your dreams. I have a good support base, a great group of friends, and as much as I want to see them win, they want to see me win. Because again, and it's a hill I'll die on, the cross I'll bear, and the sword I will fall on. There is room for everybody at the table. And if you don't want to sit down, I can't force you. I can't force you to be great. I can't force you to follow your dreams. I can do my best to support you however I can. If it's within my wheelhouse and the scope of my ability and power, I will do my part. But sometimes that may not be enough, and you're going to have to go out and figure it out on your own, what you need and how to go about achieving it. Anyway, if you've listened this long, 100 points to you, because, I can't imagine. And I love that I said that I'm the one who's sitting here talking. I can't imagine to listen to this podcast for that long. Yeah, baby, I'd be either turn this shit off immediately. But if you listen this long, 100 points to you. And, you know what? If you type the code word crown into the comments, you get 1,000 points. That shows for sure that you listened this long. Anyway, if no one else has told you today, I'm proud of you. Rather you got out of bed, rather you didn't get out of bed. Baby, the fact that you woke up and maybe attempted something or attempted nothing, hey, listen, you made it another day on this godforsaken rock. And that's all I can ask. Shout out to doing more than that. Shout out to just sometimes not doing more than that. Because some days, no spoons. No spoons in the drawer, no spoons in the cabinet, no spoons anywhere in the house, baby. But I'm proud of you for doing your best. I'm proud of you for trying. Because it's all we can do. All we can do is try. Sometimes we succeed. Sometimes we don't succeed. Sometimes we over-succeed. And hey, we live for those days. And sometimes we under-succeed and we lick our wounds and we wake up the next day. So, anyway. This has been Julian. This has been my little random thoughts and things and such. I hope you enjoyed listening. And you know what? We should take 1 billion. Be sure to take care of yourselves and those closest to you. And I'll see you next time I decide to ramble on about something. Okay. I love you. Bye-bye. Now, how do I turn this off? Hi, it's Julian again. I just wanted to let you know that if you want to stick around and see the references that I was low-key talking about in today's episode or in this podcast or whatever, I will include them here. It'll be the I Want to Be Famous, and it'll be my little Syndra montagey clippy thing. If not, you can turn this off. But I wanted to make a bit of a note so that you could check it out if it's that you wanted to. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Goodbye. How do I turn this thing out?
More. I can be so much more. My potential is limitless.
One, two, three, four. I wanna be famous. I wanna be famous. I live alone in a small apartment. I've got no money and I've got no job. I'm a real nice girl with a good personality, and I can cook and I have a kitten. By now I should be a star. I can even sort of play guitar. But I'm not rich, I'm poor and lonely. I live alone in a small apartment. I watch TV most every evening and cry myself to sleep. I don't know what to do with my life, but I really, 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 really want to be famous. Really, 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 really want to be famous. Really, 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 really want to be so. I'm gonna kill somebody important. Kill somebody important. Kill somebody important. Maybe I won't be a star, but I'll at least be famous. 2, 3, it's not that hard. All I gotta do is find someone. Maybe a CEO. Maybe someone like the guy who runs something like the country or whatever. I don't know where to get a weapon. I really don't even know how to use one. But I'm smart and I can figure it out. And then I'm gonna really, really be famous. I read in a magazine it's really important to be a celebrity. I hope my mom is proud of me when she sees me on TV. I'm gonna kill somebody important. Kill somebody important. Come on, everyone, clap. Kill somebody important. I'm gonna kill somebody important with a gun. Kill somebody important with a knife. Kill somebody important with my mind. I'm gonna kill somebody important. Kill somebody important. Kill somebody important. Maybe I won't be a star, but I'll at least be famous. I'll at least be famous. I'll at least be famous.